So I don't think I'm gonna actually be staying here that much longer. I'd give it like a year at most.
This is my friend Chase, an editor and director at KSNT. We've known each other since 5th grade, and both had very similar interests in high school.
So out of high school, I made my mind up and I wanted to go into journalism. I made that up, I'd probably say sometime within my senior year of high school. I decided that I wanted to go into journalism and working with cameras. So I always wanted to work in a TV station, even though I hardly ever watched the news. I just thought that that could be a fun thing to do, and it was kind of just like an extension of what I did in high school, since I worked at a high school TV station. And I assumed it was going to be somewhat similar, which it is, and it isn't some, like, because you're going to have obviously a lot more chaos in an actual newsroom than you are in like a high school thing that does one show a day, versus on an average day we do like a 4:30, 5, a 6, a 9 that's an hour long, so it's basically 2 shows plus a 10. I mean, we do tons of shows every single day.
But it doesn't drop us down too much, just we're getting cooler for next
During college, Chase applied for an internship at KSNT. This was his first step on his future career path.
For one of my classes that's required is you have to do at least 1 hour of internship credit. But then I signed up here, and then I got an email from the news director basically saying, like, hey, I got your thing, would you want to come in? And he basically said, you can do as much or as little as you want, which means I can either have this be like a job shadowing type thing, or you can do like full on, where you're directing all the shows every single day. And then I started off just by observing. And then I moved into learning how to code, where after the shows were done, and he would go through the rundown and then delete the coding, and then I'd have to recode it, and he would look over it. And then once I got good at that, then I actually learned how to start doing stuff over on the computer, just punching through.
Chase is a hard worker, and as he learned to do more, he was offered a job at KSNT when he graduated.
So I enjoy working with the people here, especially on the weekends. It's really chill, and we can just kind of talk and goof around and stuff like that. Just think it's kind of fun to, I guess, just punch through the rundown, and especially when you're trying to maybe design a new shot, and you're constantly, I feel like it's kind of like a coding kind of thing, where you keep trying all these different things and nothing's working, and then all of a sudden you get the right thing and it just kind of snaps, and you get like that dopamine rush of, oh, it finally worked.
Knowing all this, and having talked to Chase about his job on a number of occasions, I was shocked when he said he was looking to change his path.
I don't think there's going to be a future of me in this job, even though I like it and I think it's interesting. One of the big things for me, like not even just that the uncertain career future, is that there's not a lot of job openings, surprisingly. I think what tends to happen is that most of the directors got in here before I did and are in kind of like their, like maybe like mid-career, like 40s or like in their 50s, and so they still have quite a while before they retire and their jobs open up.
So what is the future for Chase? Trains.
The job that I'm looking at as being like a career that I stay in a long time, I think Amtrak would be really interesting, working in Kansas City. Trains aren't really gonna go away, especially now that Amtrak just launched a whole new program, or initiative, or whatever you wanna call it, where they're introducing a whole bunch of new rails that they hope on building. And if they're building them, that means that hopefully they own them, which will be really good, because Amtrak doesn't own most of their rails. They're freight rails, which means that every single time a freight train comes, Amtrak has to pull over and wait and wait and wait. And so that causes times to be delayed a whole bunch. But since they have this new initiative, then that means that hopefully train travel will increase. And I don't think it'll ever go away, just because it's kind of like a novelty kind of thing, and people love trains. It's probably just like some thing in the back of my mind that I had like a bajillion Thomas the Tank Engine movies that I'd always watch, And it's probably just something like that, that trains are pretty cool. So I think it's just kind of like, I've been around trains quite a bit.
With Chase's work ethic and interest, I know his alternate pathway is on the right track.